All right, Paulo.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming to the Wolf's Couch. I'm excited to talk
thank
to
you.
you because there's a lot of things that I know you can put a value there for people right now, especially in these times. I had the opportunity to just do, this amazing class with you where, you taught me a bunch of stuff about breathing that I had no idea. And I want to get into a lot of that stuff. So, I guess the first thing I want to know is what brought you to breathing? You know, let me know
Yeah.
what was it that interested you that started this breathing work that you do and how you became
Okay.
the master that you are.
I'm not. I don't consider me a master, but I consider me as a student. Okay, and being a student makes me knowing a little bit more than the common people. But there are masters all worldwide over there, and I'm not one of them. But maybe I'm going there.
It's a path, yeah.
Yes. What brought me to breeding? It's easy. I was a CEO for like 15 years in an English company in Portugal, and I was a very stressy guy. I had an injury in my head when I was young, very almost baby, and I had an injury with my skull, and I had some neurological problems that give me sometimes some nervous reactions. Okay, so with time, with the age and with maturity, I tended to control that, but I have like spasms, and so I try to control them. Normally, people don't see it, but I feel them. Okay, but so that's one of the things that started to controlling my nervous system. Okay, but especially I first started on meditation, but in work I was a very stressed guy, so I was studying like breathing for some time, like Wim Hof's and the techniques and more breathing, more like having like that psychedelics experiences with breathing, but it was giving me energy in the end. But I was because I was in a divorce situation. I was very stressed in work, so I had to say stop. Okay, so someday because my employees were like sometimes afraid of my reactions. Okay, I was kicking the tables and screaming and thinking that everyone was doing bad work and I was the only one with the pressure on my back. And so one day I say stop because I was nervous in home, nervous with my kids, and one of the reasons that why I divorced was I was so demanding on other people. Okay, then including my ex-wife. So had to say stop, and I went to even doing that breathing with energy, I had to say stop. So I went to India. I have learned some breathing techniques to calming me down. I have learned also spiritual philosophy and meditation, yoga, and I really, when I got back to Portugal, I was really like slow motion guy, you know. So I was seeing everything in slow motion. Everything was lovely. I was tasting the flavors. I was tasting everything. So, and I was that like 2 months. People were saying, "Paulo, you are so different. What did you do?" And I was saying, "Oh, I'm so woo-hoo now." Okay, so everything is lovely. I was connected with my employees. My employees were like more scared because they knew already what was coming, but now I was not reacting. They were saying, "Oh God, what's going next?"
That was
So
scary.
it was scary, yes. And then I thought that I was very good, but when I started to get into the reality again of the company, I was really frustrated on because I was not getting what I wanted from the company because I wanted to be the partner of the company, and They were not lying to myself, but they were just promising and promising. And one day I told them, look, I have to, or you accept me as a partner, or I'll go away. And they said, okay, you can go away. So, and it was, I was starting to get nervous again and stressed and frustrated and losing that connection again. And one day I was, it ended when I was teaching my 7 years and a half kid son how to read better, because I'm divorced father, so I'm not always with him. And I thought that he was reading better, and I was talking with him and shouting with my son, saying, how can you not read better? This stuff, you should read better. And he was looking at me and crying and saying, Father, you can spank me, okay? And I was screaming with a child, you know. I was the woo guy that came from India, and I should be different. So I got crazy with myself, and I had a bloody coconut in the, you know that story. I had a bloody coconut in the table,
Yeah.
and by reaction, crazy reaction, I pick up the coconut and I broke the coconut in my head. No, I broke the head with the coconut. And I was blood everywhere. My son was like, looking at me. And I went to the bathroom, and I was really nervous and saying, oh, I don't know you. What kind of person are you? You think you were different, but you are not different. You are crazy. And what's happening? So, and I had a voice, and I was nervous, crazy guy speaking to the mirror and shouting to the mirror with himself. And I had a voice inside of me saying, breathe, man, breathe slower, breathe slow, breathe slow. And I was like hearing the guy, the listening the voice, and I was, and I look at the mirror and I started to laugh, crazy, flowing, the blood was flowing, and I said to myself, you must breathe better, man. You have to learn how to breathe. So, and I started to really, this is when really I get on my mind on breathing. Okay. So I was studying some masters, and I've seen Dan Brulé. He was always like this, his videos and all these seminars, and he's very, very smoothie guy, you know, very in the flow. And I said, this is the guy that I have to learn, because the guy is really relaxed, you know. So, and I bought his book in the internet. I was devouring his book. And then I started to devour the books on like Belisa Vranic in the United States, Stig Stevenson, I never know this name, but it's a world diver that holds its breath. So I was studying everything since pranayama, all the Wim Hof, what I was trying to learn. But I went to Dan Brulé. I saw that Dan Brulé was coming to Romania. It's American guy, do all seminars on all world. So, and I said, okay, I'm going to Romania. So I took the flight to Romania. I was 8 days with him, I think 7 days, yeah, with him. And it was crazy. It was completely, I had a very strong transformation, because it was that single thing that was missing on me. It was relaxing, you know, because I had
Yeah.
already the energy of the Wim Hof energy, and that DMT exploding, but I was not relaxing. So Dan taught me how to relax. And when you do the rebussing, it's one of the philosophies of Dan Brulé, doing the rebussing technique. You unblock the blockage that you somehow have in your body. So through breathing, okay?
Right.
So
So, like, that was the moment, because it seems like you were already breathing. You had some breathing techniques, but what you said that was missing is the relaxing part. So
yes,
how did this, obviously this event with your son, and the whole tragic bloody event, just
yes, exactly.
kind of like tied together, what you were doing and what you needed. And this is the
Yeah.
point where you merged all, both of those things, and you started feeling more whole, is it? And you
Exactly.
started
Yeah.
getting more into like the more details and nuances about
Exactly.
uh, the breathing
It's
techniques.
it was more like when I got off when I got back to Portugal, I started to do one thing that I was not doing. I started to be disciplined. Okay. And I started
Okay.
to do systematically, and I started to be doing. I choose of all the breath techniques I was doing. I choose one that I was doing every day, okay, without missing. So and doing like being disciplined in breath work. I choose a technique that was a coherence breathing technique. I was doing every morning. I was doing in the afternoon. I was doing in the end of the day. So and this changed my life because I I was always connected. I never was I went never in stress again. So into that stress, and sometimes I get stressed, of course, but
Right.
I go down.
Yeah.
I take awareness of that, okay, and I said to myself, Paulo, you are in that state, and then I go back, okay. So but it's completely different. If you do something in life, breathing is the same. If you do something systematic and disciplined, you will have results. People think
Sure.
that they want to have fast pills for everything, okay, and they want to achieve certain type of achievement, but they don't want to work for that, and
Of course.
without work, it's impossible.
Like the
So
magic
that,
pill that
yeah,
people want.
there's no pill, yeah.
Yeah. So this is something that I just noticed with you, and well, I've been noticing, since we started talking and I started seeing your videos and everything,
Yeah,
is that, and you mentioned, that you noticed this in one of the masters, and probably all of them, with breathing, is that when I hear you breathe and you do that big inhale and then exhale, I can feel your relaxation. I can feel how you're breathing, and it's almost like an energy that you give off. Is this something that is achieved? Because you can see people do this and you don't get this feeling unless it's somebody trained like you
yes,
who. And is that something that you achieve at a certain point with training your breathing? Because not only are you feeling calm, it's like, almost like watching a pro lifter lift some
yes.
weights. It's like I'm watching you breathe in the proper way, and it just gives off that relaxation. Is this something you achieve over time?
I think you achieve it during the time, yes, over time, yes, because I think somehow someone asked me in a webinar some days ago what was the step to be, which steps I have to do to go to the biggest step or to the last step. Okay,
Yeah.
I questioned a little bit like you were asking, and I said that there is no end step. Okay, so you are like the universe, you are expanding. Okay, so in the breathing is like that. So but if you do it every day, I was not spiritual, a very spiritual guy. I'm more spiritual now than I was, because it's impossible to be connected with the breath of life, because you cannot live without breathe. Okay, it's impossible being connected with this energy that is in the air, that we call air, that we call oxygen, that is the energy we are breathing. And it's impossible not to be connected with the spiritual world when you start to do it. Okay, so but if you do it, you can do it for 1 week and you feel good with it. But if you will only have the results, or you will only have this connection you are talking about, if you do it every day. Okay, it's very sad to say that, because people want to be uh, people don't they want to be like a monk, and you hear the some people advertising, don't you don't need to go to Tibet for 7 years, just you can do it like this in 7 weeks. Okay, and that's
Right.
crazy, man. So it's not like that. you
Yeah.
don't get you don't get it in 7 weeks. It's crazy. So you get it through experience, through being disciplined, through work, through hard work sometimes, and you have to apply yourself to say you have to breathe. So
Right.
and that then you can get that type of connection that you are talking about. It seems that you are You are telling that. I don't tell that to myself. I don't see that glow you are telling about. But I feel that when I'm with people, that they feel more comfortable. They feel more connected with me because I feel more connection with myself. Okay,
Right.
and that's spreadable. You know that you can be in a room. If you are in the room, for example, I can put you breathing in your room, okay, alone. That's why I love breathing in seminars with lots of people, because when you breathe with lots of people breathing, you create you cannot explain it. You create an energy in the air that you are breathing the energy of others. Okay, so it's
Oh,
like, and I'm talking about this, and my hair is it's like going up,
wow.
and you feel really the energy. So of people, and that's why sometimes with when you breathe with other people, you have that psychedelic experiences, like out of body experiences, or seeing the light, or seeing the energy, or whatever they experience. Okay, because they experience crazy things, but it's most of the times they experience these things when they are with other people breathing at the same time. Okay, so
Yeah.
and that's connection, you know, that's creating of energy with other entities that are really energy and entities. Okay, so that's why breathing is fantastic. That's why I love it.
That's amazing. I love how you say, which is a really important part, is that it's not just, doing something for a specific amount of time and achieving, something forever. Is learning over
Yeah,
time something that you can apply every day in a
yeah,
single way.
it's a
So,
process. Yeah,
so everybody's living right now and everybody's breathing, but not everybody knows how to breathe. What's
of
the
course.
biggest problem, or the most common thing that you see in people in common day, breathing, that they should probably address? Posture, type of
Yeah,
breathing from the mouth or nose.
yeah,
What is it?
most of the people, their breathing, it's not effective, so it's not optimal. They breathe from they use the wrong muscles to breathe. So they use, like when they inhale, they do like this. They move the shoulders, and they move the upper shoulder, so, and the chest. So they are using accessory muscles, not using the breathing muscles. Okay, so this is the part, non-functional breathing. Okay, and that makes you with back pain, makes you with shoulder problems, with many problems that people think that they have to go somehow to fix their back or fix their shoulder, but in reality they are not breathing properly. Okay, and
Yeah.
this is the first thing that I see on people. The other thing is breathing from the mouth. Okay, because people, if you go to yoga teachers, I made some seminars and yoga classes where you have the yoga teachers over there, and they are always criticizing. Okay, so but I'm there, so they have to listen. But it's cool because you have teachers of yoga. Uh, I'm not telling bad about yoga, because the pranayama comes from yoga. Okay, so
Yeah.
pranayama is it's the breathing techniques from the yogis. Okay, so but the real truth is that most of yoga teachers, they just teach breathing on expanding the muscles. Okay, on expanding the body, okay, to stretch the body. Okay, when they use the exhale to stretch the body, but they don't teach people how to use internally the breathing for health, for athletic performance. So it's not used like that. So uh, breathing from your mouth, sometimes you can use it for certain type of things, like getting energy in a small period. Okay, but most of the time we should always breathe from our nose. Why? Because we have two nostrils, we have one mouth, and we have two ears. That means that we have a place to breathe in, a mouth to be shut off, to shut, and the two ears to listen. So that's why you have the Buddha stuff, like you don't like this. So you should always breathe from your nose because you have filters in your nose. We can just speak easily. So filter in your nose. You can also warm the air that goes in to your lungs, because if you breathe from your mouth, you can injury if you are always breathing from your mouth, you are not controlling the temperature of the air. So you can injure your lung because you are not controlling the temperature. So if you are giving always cold temperature, if you are jogging, for example, if you are jogging in the freeze or with the cold weather, the cold air will go to your lungs directly, and that can injury in the medium or in short term can injure your lung. So you should always breathe from your nose to warm the air before going to the lung. And when you use also your nose, you can have nitric. Let me see if I remember the name in English because I'm Portuguese, but I think it's nitrate oxide or
Oxide.
yes,
Nitric
exactly.
oxide.
So yes, you build nitrate oxide in your nose, okay, and it's a very vasodilator, and it's also a bronchodilator, okay, and it's very good to deliver more oxygen in your body, okay. So two situations: it's breathing from your nose and breathing from your belly, okay, from your belly. So not from your chest. I'm going to show you some here. So belly should breathe from below and not from this, okay? You can
Okay.
use the chest, but you shouldn't move your shoulders. So you have to breathe like on your belly without moving your shoulders.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sorry to
So what's the
show.
difference? What's the difference for, say, people who are, breathing and they're used to their chest and they say they feel fine? First, like, what's the difference? And second, what would be the benefit of practicing and training how to breathe from here?
From your belly.
Yeah.
So the good thing of breathing from using your diaphragm is that when you use your diaphragm, you are massaging your organs, internal organs, okay? Because your organs are like your diaphragm is doing like this, okay? And your organs are restricted, and you do like this to your organs, okay? So
Mm.
your organs inside, you are having an internal massage, okay? Massage, okay? The other thing is that when you breathe, you use properly the diaphragm, you are using your precostals, okay? And you are also getting strength on your precostals, okay? So it's the best way I can describe it in English, okay? So you are building your structure, you are giving strength to your structure using your diaphragm, okay? Your abdominal, your back, all your around your posture will get it will get more robust or more strength if you use your diaphragm for breathing. And
This,
also, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Now I would say also when you use your belly to breathe, you are because your lungs by biology, your lungs are bigger below. Okay, so your lungs started in the area of the chest, okay, but they are bigger on the diaphragm area below the chest, okay. So if you are breathing just shallow, you are just using 20% or 25% of your breathing capacity, okay. If you breathe from your belly, yeah, I know it's not fashion because guys think, okay, I have to have my six pack, and it's not good for ladies to have bigger belly, okay? But this is to do in your homes, guys. So it's not to do. You don't need to have a big
Well,
belly in the street, okay?
picking up
So
chicks. Yeah.
yeah, but it's the proper ways using your total capacity of your lungs is breathing with the diaphragm, using the belly, the low part of your body, the belly, to breathe,
Mm.
and not just the chest, okay?
This is something I learned from you, and is that you just mentioned that up until today, when I learned this from you prior, in the class that you were teaching me. Um, I thought that, yeah, most of the lungs were up here, but you're
Yeah,
saying that the capacity of the lungs, most of it goes to the diaphragm. So that
yeah.
makes a lot of sense as to why we want to train the diaphragm.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you use the diaphragm, okay, so the lungs are growing, and your chest, your thorax, okay, it's expanding also, okay, and your thorax expands with the diaphragm, okay.
Yeah.
So if you work with the diaphragm and expanding, you don't pressure so much the lungs, okay, because you have bigger chest to breathe, okay.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's why people say that doing swimming, it's good for enlarging. That's why the guys that do swimming normally they have bigger chest, larger capacity of the chest, and they breathe better and they have better performance. Okay, so because they are using their diaphragm, and they are opening all their breathing area, and they are really using their capacity of the lungs. So,
That makes sense. That explains a lot.
yeah.
Now, another question that I have, and this is just, what I'm thinking when you're talking about how you train your muscles, in your core and your diaphragm, is that we are training the way you taught me. We're training the muscles around your organs
Yeah,
from the inside out, which is something we're not used to because we're used to training muscles from the outside in,
exactly.
right? So this is
Yeah,
like a different kind of training, especially for the core that everybody seems to be very, and there's several reasons to train your core. I mean, that's where all your organs are, your vital organs. So this
exactly.
is, how does this, and what kind of, is the diaphragm technique one of the best to train your muscles around your core?
Yeah, because the diaphragm is the bigger muscle on your body. Okay, it's the biggest muscle on your body. So it's you when you work on a diaphragm, or when you work breathing through the diaphragm. Besides massaging your organs, okay, you are working your abdominals. So there is a very good exercise. This vacuum that you see. It's very fashion the yogis and also the guys that make they go to the gym, they do workout. It's very fashion for the guys who do six pack to make the vacuum belly or the vacuum stomach. Okay, so this is used. They are when they do the vacuum stomach, they are really working from inside out. Okay, because and there are guys that do it very well. You have the Gracie family. If you see the movie or some videos of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu family, they do a breathing technique where they massage all the organs with a vacuum technique. Okay, so they are using their diaphragm. Okay, and they are massaging their internal organs. And this is a way of exercise, but there is lots of things that they can do using breath to optimize the performance, the athletic performance or body performance.
Makes sense. And drifting off to a separate question that I had is, people who have respiratory problems,
Okay.
especially now, I think is pretty relevant. How does this help increase their capacity? Say, like we were discussing before, asthma, or even people who have a disease, just respiratory problems in general. How
Okay.
does this help, in general, even people who are prone to those, like I am, with asthma? How does this help increase, your breathing capacity?
Okay. It's not a philosophy, but it's a school of breathing that's called Buteyko school. Okay, that I've learned what they do. It's my cat trying to enter. What? Yes. What they do with the asthma, for example, and the studies they make, there are scientific studies on that. Is that the, most of the people think that asthma is they have excess, they have lack of oxygen. Okay,
Hmm.
and the problem, the issue with asthma is that it's a lack of resistance to carbon dioxide. Okay, so if you work your resistance to carbon dioxide, you can reduce your asthma problems. Okay, so but instead of breathing too much air, okay, you have to control the amount of air that you let going in. Okay, and you have to work more on your exhales and on your holding the breath, so you can start to increase the capacity of resistance to carbon dioxide in your body. That way, you will enhance your capacity to breathe, and you will reduce the problems with asthma. And there are people that they get off asthma. And they have asthma, and then they start to be top athletes. Okay, so it's crazy, but it's really documented. So it's not me saying it; it's me saying it now, but but you
Hey,
can see it.
I'll take your
It's
word.
yeah. But the
So,
Buteyko technique, it's very good for asthma controlling. Yeah, for
Boteyko.
reduction. Yeah, Buteyko. Yeah.
Okay. Something that I want to pick your brain on, because you mentioned this before, is that when we can train ourselves to involuntarily breathe proper again. Now, this reminded me then when we see babies, right? They breathe perfectly. You can see
Yeah.
them just with a perfect rhythm of their diaphragm. But now as adults, and we train ourselves, wrong somehow, we're not, we're not breathing that way.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that over time, in certain exercises that you teach will make you eventually return to that normality of breathing through your
Exactly.
diaphragm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you
It's
talk about that?
yes, of course. It's like when you see a baby or you see an animal. I have two cats in my house and one dog, and when they are sleeping or when they are at rest or relaxing, you see the belly. Okay, they just breathe from the belly. They are not breathing from the chest. Okay, it's not. They are not stressed. They know how to. The animal and the babies, they when they're born, they are breathing from their belly also. So they don't breathe from the mouth or from the chest. So when we got to in the age of like 5, 6 years old, the society obliges us, demands us to change our behavior. When you go to the doctor, for example, the doctor says, full in, and you do like this, okay? And they started, and the doctors teach you how to breathe non-functionally, okay? So you put it in your mind. It's like a limited belief, okay? They put a limited belief that you have to breathe like that. And then when you're on with the stress of life, every time you have a stress situation, you do like this, and you hold, okay, and so you don't breathe properly, and you get off the chair, and you stop to breathe, and you are waiting for a phone call, and you are reading a message, you don't breathe, okay. So all these situations put you in a non-breathing situation, okay, because you are always on a flight or flight response, okay. So and when you start to breathing or start to make breathing exercises, it's like going to driver license or driver license. In the beginning, you don't know crap about it, okay. You get nervous, you don't know what it's 3 wheels in Portugal. Yeah, it's not the manual. They still drive in manual gear, okay. And it's, for me, it was crazy. Now I do. Sometimes I don't know how can I go to certain places without thinking on it. Okay, so breathing is the same. So if you start to do the belly breathing, voluntary, of course, by exercise everyday basis, soon you will get involuntary, because it will turn a habit. Okay, so and you will go again to be the child and the animal, and to breathe properly as nature asks you to breathe, okay,
Right.
and not the way that society puts you on breathing.
Let me go. Let's go on a really good tangent here because this
Okay.
is very interesting. You just mentioned that, and I don't think we have talked about this yet, but you did mention it to me how when we breathe from up here, we're breathing from stress, and
Okay.
when we breathe from diaphragm, we're
Yeah.
breathing from relaxation.
Yeah.
So,
Eh,
talk a little bit about that, and then I'm going to ask you another question as a follow up. That's very interesting to me.
Okay, very good. It's very easy. When I said to you, when you get scared of something, what you do is, if you have a guy now, I told you, if I tell you, Gabriel, be careful, and you will say, you get scared. Okay, so what you do is that you are doing shallow breathing. Okay,
Hmm.
so you are activating your stress mode. Okay, your fight or flight response. You want to kill or fly, or to kill, attack, or run away. Okay, if you have a lion in front of on your back, you will run away for sure. If you want to attack the lion, it's stupid, but probably you will run away. So it's your flight or flight. It's connected to your reptilian brain. Okay, it's made for protecting you. Okay, so when you breathe from the upper chest, you are breathing shallow. You are somehow activating your sympathetic nervous system. Okay,
Right. Oh,
so
okay.
when you breathe from your diaphragm, okay, it's not for by nature. Where do you have the digestion area? It's the so-called rest and digest, okay, mode. So it's the parasympathetic mode, okay. So it's on your belly, okay.
Makes
So
sense.
it's where you have your stomach, your intestines, all your digestion process, okay. So when you start to breathe from your belly, it's where you start to work and activating your parasympathetic nervous system. So in life and in breathing, you have to balance it. You have to balance between it's like here you have your cortisol, okay? And here you have your like dopamine, okay? And you have to balance it, okay? So you have to breathe from your more from your, you have to be more balanced. If you breathe in the stress world we're living, okay, you have to breathe more from your diaphragm, and then you can use your stress when you need it. Okay, you can by demand. Okay, you can if you need to run, or if you need to go make sports, or if you need somehow to have more energy, you can use the upper part, like small breaths, fast breaths, using just the chest. You are activating your energy, your cortisol, but 90% of the time you should be in a relaxing phase, okay? Because if you're always using your stress mode, like on your non-optimal breathing, you will get two things: or your brain will collapse because you're always on a fight or flight mode, or your heart will collapse. One of the two. And when the heart doesn't collapse, the brain says stop. And then
Oh,
you have depression and you have burnout. Why? Because
wow.
it's the burnout and the depression is the way of telling your body, saying, if you don't stop, I will stop it. And the mind has a way of stopping so that heart doesn't explode, you know? So,
Right. That makes
so
sense.
it's a protection of your it's a total, it's your reptilian brain saying to yourself, I will stop you because you don't stop. Okay, so it's something
Yeah.
like that.
That explains why, the classic, behavior of somebody who is upset is
Yeah,
just breathing here because it's just getting
yeah,
that, that fighting
exactly.
hormone. So this is kind of like the segue I want to get here. We live, like you said, we live in a fear-based society. Everything we're fearing something. We're in that stress mode all the time. And I'm assuming that that's what actually makes us involuntarily train our breathing up here over time and forget, as babies, to
Yes,
just be in relaxation. So it's not like we train ourselves, through a direct mean, but over time, it was just the stress that we live in every day that makes us breathe here, right? So,
exactly.
um, how long does it take, or how often? Because we already spoke about, the non-magic pill effect of breathing, how much during the day can you or should you train on specific exercises to regain that voluntarily? Because it seems like if we are not breathing properly when we sleep or when we rest, it's going to be detrimental to our health. So if we can switch that and
Yeah,
start involuntarily just breathing normally, it should improve our health tremendously.
for
How
sure.
how how often should this be practiced a day, say?
If you're going to see that most of the people don't breathe, if they start to think on breathing, that's the good principle. Okay, if they want to, what I do every day, besides other techniques I do, but because I need to explain how to do it, so I have to do it more than the other normal people. But what I do is every time, what I do can answer your question. So what I do, because in the morning I have to go to work, sometimes to arrange things with the breakfast, help my wife. So it's also always a stress mode morning. Okay, go to work and go to traffic and so on. So I do every time I wake up. I do 5 minutes breathing. Okay, technique. So I call it coherence breathing. Okay, and I do just a small process of 5 minutes, like 5 seconds inhale and 5 seconds exhale. Okay, it's so simple like that. Okay, and this will give you 4 hours. 4 hours. It's crazy, but it will.
Wow.
So we're talking about the heart rate variability. Sorry, the wrong word in English, but you will make a connection between your mind and your heart and your breathing, and your heart rate variability will go bigger. Okay, so you can have there's lots of things I could explain now, but your levels of dopamine will grow, your testosterone will grow, your expectation of life will grow, because your DHEA will grow also. And DHEA, it's the hormone of youth. It's the so-called of youth hormone. Okay, so when you do this technique, just 5 minutes per day in the morning, uh, 5 seconds inhale and 5 seconds exhale, it gives you 4 hours of being in the zone. Okay,
Wow.
being balanced. So if you do just this small technique in the morning after going to the toilet, you wake up, you go to the toilet, do your thing, and then you go back and you go to your living room or somewhere you can be quiet. Just breathe for 5 minutes. It's that. And
Wow.
then if you want to have be more advanced, you can do before lunch and before going home again from your work. So, but if you want to just start, just make the 5 minutes, and you will see the changes. If you do it every day, you will see it's a life changer. So it's you will see completely big difference in changes.
It seems like it's a very easy investment of time for the benefits that you get. And also you don't need any equipment because all you need
No,
to do is breathe.
you just
That's
need your
amazing.
lumps. You just need your lumps and your air and your time. So and it's crazy. Like people say, I don't have time. They don't have time for 5 minutes, but they have time to go to the doctor always, to go to the pharmacy, to
Yeah.
buy drugs, to buy pharmaceuticals. It's crazy. So and the air is free, you know. So I don't
Yeah.
understand, but and people sometimes say to me, "Hi, Paulo, I tried for 2 weeks. It was good, but then I stopped it." And then they go to the psychologist, then they go to hypnotherapist, they test all, and they say nothing works with me. But they are. Sometimes I want to, you know, to say that's why it doesn't work, man. You don't do it every
Right.
day. Okay, so you should pick up something that works for you and do it. If it's hypnotherapy, do it. If it's breathing, for me, breathing, you don't have to pay so much. So but it's free. Okay, you can use it. Maybe you have to pay to learn with me. I'm joking.
It's worth
But
it.
Yeah, it's worth it. But then you get it's free for all life. So, and if you don't
Right.
want to pay me, you can go to Google and YouTube and learn and start to breathe somehow. So that's the best.
It seems like it's discipline as usual, just getting, the discipline of people, in check and seeing the
Yeah,
benefit. But another thing that seems to be, the case, and I see this all the time also, with my clients, is that if you are not invested into something, that you see the value when you put value into something. Doesn't have to be monetary, but it has to do, like one of the biggest is health, because once you put the value of your health, because you're sacrificing your health, you're sacrificing it. If you don't do it, then you start seeing like the discipline come in almost like immediately. It's almost like
yeah,
when people go to the doctor, and they get their pills. Most of them, I would think, they would take the pills 8 hours on the dot. They will never forget. So maybe that's where, the magic pill comes from.
yeah,
So one question I want to ask you, because you notice it right away, and I told you, like, how are you reading my mind? Is that you notice because of my breathing
yes,
that I am not a stress, I'm not stressed, which I'm not, I live a very calm life. However, you did notice that I think too much, and that affects into my anxiety levels, not externally, but internally. How do
yeah.
you do that? And what are the most common patterns that you see in people's life right now?
Yeah, it depends on the first. First, it's the way of reading. It's like if you start to, it's a good practice is to observe, to be the observer. Okay, so if you start to look at people and see the people that are seeing this, if they are started to watch people, how did they breathe? If they breathe from their mouth, if they breathe from their nose, if they use shoulders, if they are using the upper chest, or if they are using their belly, or the way they breathe, it tells me that they are acting more, or they are using more their parasympathetic nervous system, or they are using more their sort of stress, their sympathetic nervous system. Okay, so then that can, just by profiling the behavior, so the way that you breathe is the way that you are, okay, externally. Okay,
Yeah.
so and that's a very good way of profiling people. So I don't know everything about a person by the way they breathe, but you can have you can have very good information on how does this person will react on your speech with this person. So it's very good to see. This is non-verbal behavior study. So the FBI guys, they do it. Okay, so
Wow.
they do this profile, not just in breathing, but they do on the way of acting. But breathing is a very good way of profiling the people's behavior. So it's very good. And I could see it just on your breathing, because you are a guy that breathes from your nose. Okay, and because you breathe from your nose and you don't move your shoulders when you're breathing, it seems that you are using your belly, or you are using most part of your breathing, of your lungs to breathe. Okay, independently if you are using 70% or 60% or 50%, you are using much more than normal people. Okay, and then I know you, so I know that you are on the metaphysics. Okay, so and people that are on metaphysics, normally they are thinkers. Okay, so uh, that's why, and the thinkers normally they tend to be introspective. They tend to think too much on things, and when I say too much, it's not too much. And this creates sometimes anxiety. Why? Because the brain is always working. Okay, it's the guys of meditation call it the monkey mind. You know, it's so we lose our focus because we are just thinking and thinking and thinking. And also, although it doesn't give you stress because you don't act on stress, but you act more on anxiety because you are thinking too much things that they didn't happen, or they will come. Okay, and
Yeah.
but I'm not. But you are not the anxiety type of person that's always worried what's happening in the future, because we are in this crisis with this virus, and I feel that you are very connected. So it's not that type of anxiety. So
it's amazing how you can see the difference between the external anxiety or the external triggers of anxiety and the internal triggers of anxiety.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
very subtle distinction.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Paulo, we're coming up on time, but I want to do with you breathing exercise if you want.
Right.
You know.
Okay. Let's
Well,
do it.
not if you want. You have to. We have to do this together.
Okay, good.
I want you to brief anything simple, and I want to do it. You know, we're going to do it together, right?
Okay.
And I wanted to explain, like, what are we going to do? Then we'll do it so the people, you know, watching this can also implement it.
Okay,
So
perfect.
go ahead.
Do you
what
want
are we
me
going to do?
okay. So we can do the thing that I do every morning. So it's very easy. Okay. It's the coherence breathing. It's a guy that study a lot of this method is David Aware. Okay. And he's a scientist of the heart. Okay. And this breathing is very good. So it's just very easy. You go for inhale, 5 seconds, inhale, for the people that are not used to. So we can do the 4 or 5 seconds, but we're going to the 5 seconds. Okay. So it's like inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 2, 3, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to do it now, breathing. So it's so when you do the inhale, it's voluntary. You feel the belly, okay, the belly from below to up, okay. Feel the belly. So it's and just let it go. It's like doing the side of relief, you know. It's not you are not doing, you are not expelling the air, you are just letting the air going out. Okay, so it's
Okay. So we inhale for 5 seconds.
5 seconds, yeah, and then you exhale for 5 seconds. So we can do it. We can start to do it. Okay, so
Okay.
it's
Let's do this.
Let's do 1, 2, 3. So it's one more time. So it's like this. During 5 minutes, you can control on your timer, or there you can put, or you go to YouTube, you put 5 minutes meditation music, and you can do it without counting. Just this, don't have to be perfect. You just have to do it. But if you do it by the nose and if you use your belly, it's brutal, man. It's fantastic. And,
Wow. Yeah.
and it's the best advice I can give to anyone, that to start on breathing is to do this simple fundamentals breathing using nose, belly, and doing this 5 seconds inhale, 5 seconds exhale during 5 minutes. So it's mind blowing.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm definitely going to start including this in my morning routine. I felt that even those couple of breathings that we did, I felt like my body started to relax from my neck down, and it just felt like my muscles were filled with more something. It just felt it's a very hard feeling to describe. But it's just
when you do the exhale like this, you don't you let it go like the side of relief, like okay. When you do this, the side of relief, you are releasing your shoulders. Okay, you are doing. Okay, so you are completely relaxed. So
Right.
that's why you should always on the exhale do the side of relief. Okay, so
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
so if you breathe these 5 minutes like this, you you just have to experience it. So it's I cannot tell you anything about it. So
Yeah.
just experience it.
I hope people get this message. And one of the things that comes to mind is that people seem to see that breathing is, it's free and it's easy. So they shouldn't get, they wouldn't get many benefits from doing this. But once you try it, it's amazing
Yeah,
the results that you get.
but they
Paulo.
can. You put
Yeah.
you put your IBAN account below, and you say if you want to pay for breathing, pay it and then breathe. So they will get the value like that.
Well, what people can pay is for your work. I want to know what you're offering right now. What is it that you have, in place for people that want to train this? Because watching YouTube videos, it's one thing. Training is a completely different thing because you have somebody guiding you and telling you exactly what to
Yeah.
do and works with you. So tell me a little bit more of what this course that you're bringing up, and what the kind of work that people can reach out, especially now that everybody's at home, they're looking to do new things that can improve their well-being, this stressful situation that we're all at right now. And this seems like an excellent way for people to just start improving their daily lives right now, and something that they can hopefully take to the future. So tell me about what you're doing and where can people
So
find you?
I have the website. It's called Learn to Breathe. So it's the number two breathe.com. And in Learn to Breathe, you have a course that I started. I started the course right now. It's a 6 weeks course where you learn from the basics until to the advanced. So but people tend to like just the so-called big shots of breathing, okay, like having psychedelics breathing and having their testosterone level, dopamine levels high. So like, but I want to start from the basics. Reading is like a good book, you know. You have
Mm,
to learn it from beginning. If you start a good book from the middle, you will not, or from the end, you will not know. You can test somehow, but you will not appreciate it in time. So, and this course is like this. So you start on the model 1 to the model 6, and you will learn all the basics. You will learn how to make more connection with breathing and using these techniques. You will learn how to do the reversing techniques also. You will learn all the techniques, the basics to the advanced ones. I teach also perineal breathing for improving your sex life, but also to transform your sexual energy in using I'm missing the word now, but transform your sexual energy in vital energy in your work, in your creativity, and so there are many things that you can learn through breathing. And on the 6th level, on a 6 model, this is a very good course that interacts with people. So we have a call, one-to-one calls, and I try to be there for the people to their specific needs. So the course is on the program. So if you go to the website, it's the learntobreathe.com. You go to the product zone, and we have the product there. So it's just my new product. It's the first product I have because, as you know, I'm just doing the courses now. So it's this. So I hope that I tried somehow to have accountability in this program, because people, when they do a course, they don't feel pressure first to do the things. Okay, they don't have accountability. They have someone that holds on them and push them to do the things. Okay. And in the end, sometimes they don't know, nobody knows if they ended the course, or nobody's worried. So in the end of the course, I have a thing that's devil's call. Okay. It's me phoning the person and having a Zoom call to see how was their experience, what they are doing, what was best for them, and how can we transform themselves using breath for the future. Okay, because you can use breath for every topics in your life, to get more connection in your work, connection with your employees, connection with your customers, suppliers, loved ones, because it's connection with life. If you are more connected with yourself, you are more connected with others, and you can be much better person. So I'm a good guy because of breathing.
Dude, that's the most beautiful message you have given in this whole hour. Thank you for that. And all the links are going to be in the descriptions, your social as well, so people can find you. And of course,
Okay.
Thank
you very much.
Yeah, I'm honored to be, one of your students, a student of a student that doesn't want to acknowledge there's a master, but you're my master right now of breathing, and I appreciate that. I can't wait to see like how this is going to pan out for me. So far it's been amazing, the techniques that I've learned from you, and just being mindful of breathing it's an amazing way. Just like you said with this last message, it's our connection to everybody, and it improves our connection with the planet itself. So
yeah, fantastic,
Paulo,
man.
Thank you so much for this. I think there's so much we can talk about. We'll have other opportunities, because I definitely want to bring you out, more to people, so they can get, benefits of this, understand it. So thank you for doing this with me, brother. All right. Thank you.
Cheers.
Until next time.